Hey everyone, it's attorney Bianca Jordan from brazenlegal.com. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Welcome to part 3 of my Immigration Nation Explained series. Today's video is going to talk about deportation. How do you get deported, what happens after you're deported, and how do you come back to the United States after deportation if it's possible for you to do so. So there is a long list of things that can make you inadmissible to the United States, and that's just a fancy word for saying that can keep you out of the United States. Things like committing certain crimes, being a public charge, having certain diseases, and even having a prior deportation. Similarly, there is a long list of things that can keep you from um, staying in the United States, that can make you deportable. And one of those things is crimes. So if you commit certain crimes, as I talked about in the previous video, there are certain crimes where if you are convicted, and that can include a guilty plea, that will make you deportable. Similarly, if you come to the United States undocumented, you could be processed for expedited removal, which is basically removing you from the United States almost immediately. And there are also situations where you can come into the United States legally with a visa and you overstay that visa, and then you can end up in removal proceedings because of that as well. So, depending on the reason why you end up in deportation, is going to dictate how long you are prohibited from coming back to the United States. Typically, if you are deported from the United States, you cannot come back from 10 years after you actually leave. So the clock does not start to run until you actually leave the United States. So, for example, if you were deported in 2010, but you're still in the United States as of 2020, that clock didn't start yet because you never left the United States. So the clock starts to run once you leave the United States. And there are certain crimes and conditions where if you leave the United States once you're deported, you can never come back. And one of those is if you come to the United States undocumented and then you're deported and then you leave and then you try to come back again undocumented and then you get deported again, you can never come back to the United States. So deportation is definitely serious business. You want to try to avoid it as much as you can because the consequences can be dire. Now, let's say you are deported from the United States and you leave the United States. So back to my previous example. Let's say that you were ordered deported in 2010 and you actually left the United States in 2010. And now it's 2020. You want to come back. Maybe you have a relative that can petition for you to get a green card. Maybe you have a daughter who's now 21, or you have a spouse that can petition for you to get a green card. You can come back to the United States. You can apply. You shouldn't have any issues, depending on, again, the reason why you were deported the first time. And you should be able to apply for that green card, come to the United States with no issues whatsoever. If you, let's say, for example, you were deported in 2010 and then you go back to your home country in 2005, or you deported in 2010, and let's say you are trying to come back to the United States in 2015, you're going to need a waiver or something that's called a waiver. It's kind of like a waiver. It's Form 212. It's basically asking for permission to come back to the United States. And the reason why you would need this form is because you were deported in 2010. It is now 2015. You want to come back to the United States. You have not spent the entire 10-year period out of the U.S., so you're going to need permission to come back to the United States before that 10 years is up. If you spend the whole 10 years out of the U.S., you don't need to file that application to get back. And again, there are some situations where you are deported from the United States, you leave, and you can never come back. So again, deportation is very complicated. It's very case specific, case by case. There are some cases that can be virtually identical and have different results. But I wanted to hop on here and at least do a quick video to explain what gets you deported, what happens after you're deported, and how you can come back if at all. I hope you found this video helpful. Please visit brazenlegal.com/deportation to learn more about the removal process. And please don't forget to hit the bell to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next video in this series. Thanks for watching.